How is it going? Oh man, it's been a while since I made a video. It's been a couple months now. I think the last video I made was, I don't know, I think in May, April, May. No, it had to be in May because I totaled the M2 in May. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. If you're watching for the first time, it's an odd video to click on because it's an update video, but thank you for stopping by anyway. I'm gonna make this video to kind of talk about what's going on. Where is the new M2 that I said was inevitably gonna come? Where is my car? Where are my videos? What am I doing? What is happening with this channel? For those that are tuning in for the first time or want a quick recap, I am Bertsky. Thank you for stopping by. And I had an M2 that I owned for a hair under 1 month before it got totaled. Very, very sad, I know, but it happens. The initial plan was to buy another Long Beach Blue M2, basically same exact car, replace it just like for like, and just kind of carry on. Ran into a couple issues with that, and then I started looking at other cars, one thing at a time, I guess. So first part is what car are we buying next? Are we buying a car? What's going on? So as I was saying, I was looking to buy another blue M2, and the issue that we started having was there just aren't many M2s for sale in like what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an M2 that's under 45,000, which is pretty much the majority of the original M2s. They're all pretty much under 45, with exception of the 2018 LCIs, and then obviously the competitions, which I'm not in the market for. Price-wise, no problem. So mileage is the next thing I was looking for, and that, you know, mileage, it doesn't really bother me if the car has higher miles. The N55 engine in the M2 is a fantastic engine. There are a few things that start to go wrong with it, kind of like later in its life, but all in all, it's a great engine. There's really not much to be worried about with a higher mileage car. So mileage, I didn't really care too much, but I'm still conscious of, you know, hey, I don't want to buy a car with, you know, 100,000 miles. It's just not what I want to do. Then I really want a Long Beach Blue car with a clean history, so I don't really want any accidents on it. Now the M2 that I had was a dual clutch transmission. Now the M2, I am looking at dual clutches, but I am also looking at probably getting a manual transmission as well for the M2. So I've never owned a manual. I've driven manual a couple times. Not the best at it by any means, because I've just never owned one. I'm living in America. We don't mess around with manuals over here. It's just the way it is. Everyone drives an automatic. I've watched a lot of videos on M2s and stuff. Talked to a few people that are also BMW people, and they said the M2 is a fantastic car to get a manual in. So what better time than now to get into a manual car, if not with an M2? If I was to get an M4, I'd probably get the dual clutch, just because from what I've heard, that car is a lot better suited to the dual clutch than the manual. And having driven both, I would agree, especially with the cool feature that you can adjust the shift speeds on it. I just think it's much cooler technology-wise to have the DCT in the M4 than it is to have a manual transmission in that car. We're gonna see what we can find, but ideally what I'd love to find out is a manual Long Beach Blue M2, early generation, so the OG one, not the competition. I'd like an LCI one, but I wouldn't mind a pre-LCI version. Essentially, when I put all the things together, there are only across nationwide about 11-12 cars for sale in my range of what I am looking for. There's not many to pick from. If I expand my budget past 45,000, I can buy one pretty quickly. But the problem with M2s is they right now are just so overpriced, period. Just period. They are so overpriced, it's insane. You know, it's not a bad price, you know, 35,000 for an M2, but when you're looking at 40,000, 41, 42,000 now for a 2016 or 17 M2 with like, I don't know, 50,000 miles, 60,000 miles, it's like, hold on now. Now we're getting into territory that just doesn't make any sense. Like a 2016, 17 M2, like it's, at this point, it's an older car, especially the new M2 came out. I know it's a bit controversial and that it's ugly as hell, but still, the new M2 is out. More of the old ones should be coming into the market, but they're not. The old ones should be dropping just by basic depreciation, just by the fact that there's the new M2, and they're not. Now, they are fantastic cars, and that's part of why I think the price of them are holding so steady around that 40,000 mark. But dealerships are just still overpricing the M2, and just in general, the market on the M2 is still so ridiculous. Like, I cannot justify. I gotta put it into another perspective, right? For the same, 45,000 budget, I can buy a same year, like 2016 M4, fully loaded used, with pretty okay miles. You look at like 50,000 miles, kind of similar, good history, like for the same money. And it's like the M2 is a fantastic driver car, whereas the M4 is a bit more kind of luxury, and it's kind of, it got these fancy tech and bells and whistles, whatever. But it's still got a lot more in the package. And then not to mention, it has the full S55 engine, whereas the M2 has the N55. So you get more for the money with an M4, and it's hard to justify spending 40,000 plus on an M2 when you can get something else for the same money. You know what I mean? It's become very hard to find another M2. So then I'm like, all right, well, if I can't find an M2, what else can I find? I definitely want to go BMW. So I start looking at, all right, let's look at M4s, right? M4s and M3s. Same kind of years, kind of 2016-ish, that kind of early generation M4. 100% want either the Austin Yellow or the Yas Marina Blue. Those are just such incredible colors. And I used to think that the Austin Yellow was ugly as hell when I first saw it back in the day, but now it's kind of really grown on me. I really, really want that color car. And I test drove one, really beautiful color, really liked it. 100% want the carbon roof. You gotta have the exec package, you gotta have the other packages on it. And the problem there becomes, well, the M4 you could spec so differently. Like, you could have two identical M4s with just different packages. Like one might have the lighting package with the LED lights, the other might have just the xenon lights, but it has the carbon roof, which I want. So it's such a pain. And then finding those two colors, it's such a nightmare car shopping. Like every car that I come across, like within 1 to 2 days of it being posted, I reach out to the dealership and they're like, sorry, the car is sold. Sorry, someone's already got a deposit on it, I'm sorry. And it's like, god damn, like you can't win. There was this one M4 I was looking at. It was a 16 or 15, but it was an Austin Yellow M4, one owner, perfect history, all the maintenance, everything was done on it, beautiful condition, had the carbon roof on it, everything was just mint on the car. It had the upgraded competition wheels on that car, but it was out in California. Now I'm on the East Coast, so I would have to ship the car over, which I don't necessarily mind doing. So I reach out to the dealership the day it was posted. The day the car was posted online, I reach out to the dealership, and they're like, yeah, it's still available. There's a couple people interested in the car, but it's still available. So okay, I'm on the phone with them, trying to put a deal together, with the shipping and stuff. And then within an hour of trying to make a deal on the car and everything going smooth, like we're progressing towards purchasing the car, they said management approved someone walking in and buying the car cash. Like, I can't compete with that. So if the day a car is posted, it's already gone to the cash sale. It's like the housing market. It's insane. You either got to pay over, you got to just blindly buy the car like the second it goes on market, or you got to buy a crappier car. It becomes such a pain to car shop. So that's kind of been my dilemma, is just finding a car. Like, the money was sitting there, it's ready to go, and it's like I can't find one. I can't find a car. So that's kind of the update. So I am still roughly looking for a car. Part of me is kind of giving up, but it's like, if I really want to be a YouTuber that's focused on cars, focused on this and that, I have to buy a car at some point, right? So I'm kind of stuck between a few choices, right? I can still wait until the right car comes up, which makes the most sense because by then the market will come down hopefully a little bit more, and it'll make more sense to buy the car, because in the 30,000s an M2 makes sense. For 40 plus, they don't really make too much sense. They're a bit overpriced to me. The next option, I could look for another better paying job, which is an option that, of course I'm, looking at as well, but it's got to be a much better paying job. I have to be making a step up. I'm not just going to leave my job for another job that pays me $2,000 more. It doesn't make any sense to me either. All right, so I guess now the question is, what happens with the channel now? I want to keep making videos, but I don't have the car to make the videos with. Obviously, I have my daily driver, my Subaru that I'm in right now, but it doesn't excite car people that much. It's a hatchback Subaru. Like, it's not exciting, It's not an M2 or an M5. I'm kind of in this weird spot of what do I do now with this channel? Now, one of the things I wanted to do with the channel initially when I started it is not only do car videos, but I wanted to do videos on finance and management. I work in management, and I got into it pretty early at 25. And there were a lot of different lessons I learned, a lot of different things I feel like I want to pass on to the next person, Those videos I wanted to make. Finance, I'm big on investing, really big on that. Pretty proud of where I am net worth wise for my age. So I feel like passing those tips on to, someone else is definitely something I wanted to do as well. Initially, when I wanted to make those videos, I wanted to do them in a car format, kind of like this. Because initially I wanted to do it in, the exciting car. But at the end of the day, this is what I got. This is what I have to make videos with right now. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I guess I have a bit more planning on those videos because I had a lot more car content planned before I totaled the M2. I had some plans for the videos I wanted to make regarding management stuff and finance stuff. I'm going to probably see about making some of those videos in the coming future, at least in the meantime. Eventually I would have gotten around to it anyway, but I think right now, to keep the YouTube channel somewhat alive, I think I need to make something. I need to make some kind of content, right? We'll see. But I wanted to make some kind of video on kind of what's going on with the channel. Are we buying a car? Are we not buying a car? Where is the car? So, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, click like. If you appreciate the update, just click like. Or just for the hell of it, click like. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.